Hey everyone! I usually don't film at night like this, so sorry if I seem a little different than usual. I normally film in the mornings, but this was one of those that I was scared like details would come out of my brain and I would forget things that I wanted to say. So I just had to film it as soon as I finished the book. And I like also told the author that I was going to review it, so I feel kind of in a rush to put this video out. It'll be early November that you're seeing this, hopefully. Goodness. But anyway, it is Unseen. I'm gonna get the I need to look at the title. How I Lost My Vision But Found My Voice. I always get the subtitle wrong, but Unseen. It is a gorgeous cover. If you haven't seen it, it is the author Molly Burke, and they shone a light on her eye, which is really cool. If you don't know that she's a blind content creator that I've followed for years, and you can also maybe you can see, maybe you can't, that there is Braille on it that is actually raised and everything, which is just such a cool detail. I really, really love. And yeah, it's a gorgeous book. It's like this dark green, and then she has like a lighter green sweater on. I just really, really enjoy it a lot. So very beautiful cover. I wanted to read this book as soon as I heard about it. Um, Molly has been, I'm gonna hopefully not get emotional. Molly's been very important in my life. I've followed her for years. I actually wasn't quite sure how long I was watching her. I had this weird memory in my head of watching her when I was in college, but it can't have been because we're the same age and she wasn't doing content when she was like that age. Um, but anyway, it was around 7 years ago. I kind of went back and looked at her videos. So I'll put up like some thumbnails of some of the early videos that I watched. Basically, I've always my whole life had a fascination with guide dogs and other kind of service dogs. Even before I knew I was disabled. But I've always been fascinated by guide dogs, and I've like watched documentaries and that kind of thing. So when I discovered her, she talks a lot about how her life with her guide dogs are and how training with guide dogs went and that kind of thing. So I've always been fascinated with that. So I just really enjoyed all of her content. And it used to be that it was just like I was drawn to it, but I didn't really know why. But now that I actually like have a disability that I didn't know about at the time, um, it's like more special, I guess. So that's why this book was so great for me. It was just wonderful to like connect in a book form instead of just watching her videos. I've always like really appreciated her like stick-to-itiveness and her fight, and her personality is very similar to mine. I'm very extroverted, as is she, and very outspoken, and so I just always like really appreciate that about her. And I really enjoy also in her videos like her adaptability, if that makes sense. She doesn't just feel sorry for herself, she figures out a way that she can do it. If she has to do something differently, she just like figures out how. And I just always really appreciate that. Um, and yeah, just her attitude towards life just means the world to me, because I see so many people, especially in my community, the fibro community, I see so many of us giving up, and I just really hope that messages like this will tell people not to give up and to fight, because we can fight. Like there are ways we can fight, and we might have to figure out like different ways of doing things, but we can still figure it out. And so her channel was not the only channel that I follow, but one of the channels that I follow that just made the transition easier when I had to use a walker. I like accepted it really quickly compared to a lot of people I've heard it from. Like, I accepted it really quickly because of people like Molly Burke and some other people. There are quite a few that I follow, but Molly really helped me out. And so, anyway, I'm getting emotional. But the book, that's why I wanted to read this book. Her channel has just meant a lot to me, and this book was so good and so much fun, and it's a very quick read, and I love that as well. But it just like really connected a lot with me, not just some of the disability things. We have very different disabilities, but we also both share that we don't look disabled. She looks very much like anybody, and so do I. Like, no one would guess I have fibromyalgia, and no one would guess how much it impacts my day-to-day without knowing my story. So that's like very similar between us. But also, we've both been in jobs that didn't understand or pushed us in ways we weren't comfortable with, or just like different societal expectations. So I was a teacher, a classroom teacher. I'm still a teacher, but I was a classroom teacher, and that like environment can be quite unhealthy and a lot of pressure, and it's very physical. People don't really realize how physical teaching is. So I was always like pushed too much physically and looked down on, and not understood at my job. So all of her stuff about her big job just resonated a lot with me. A lot of the pressures and not understanding and not taking into account how people were doing that kind of thing, that all like resonated with me so much. So if you have ever had a job like that, highly recommend this book. So also just like we went to similar schools, and I'm sure like it was tough. Like for me, my mom was like a teacher at that school. That's the only way we could afford it. So I was like one of the only students there that wasn't like super wealthy. So we probably had pretty similar experiences with school like that. So yeah, it was really special reading this book. I really enjoyed it cover to cover. I love listening to some of the old YouTuber stuff because I've been on YouTube for a very long time, and like I said, we're the same age, so we like watched the same YouTubers when we were younger. So that was fun to like hear about and stuff, and just some background stuff. Some of the stories I knew. That was probably the only negative I could say, was just that like one or two of the stories I had heard before. So, but I just like read a little quicker during those parts. So that was probably the only negative, but that's just because I've watched her channel for 7+ years. But yeah, it was amazing. It was a really good book. So you can see I have little tabbies because I'm going to read some quotes. So this is just really special to me because I've recently just heard a lot of people just like using their disability as a crutch or an excuse to not try things or to not try to be better. So that's why these quotes are just so special to me, is that both Molly and I really believe in like pushing, you know what I mean? And I've really like enjoyed that about her. So here's a couple of quotes that I've really, really liked. I could choose to remain a victim, or I could choose to be a survivor. But to do that, I would need to take an active role in changing the way society perceived me. I just love active role. I've learned in life that bad things happen. I think that's pretty clear at this point. But the worst thing you can do is to let it stop you. So true. And then this one. Speaking up, whether it's well received or not, is not just a one-time thing now. It's an every chance I get thing. And I'm proud of how far I've come in finding my voice. which is very true of me as well. I used to just be scared of getting fired, which was very much like her. So yeah, it was a great book to read. It was really encouraging, and it brought me back to some of those old days watching her videos. It's just like kind of fun to watch the last like 7 or 8 years, because we've kind of grown up together. Again, I'm getting a little emotional, but yeah, it was just a great book. I highly recommend it. Even if you don't have any kind of disability, I think that you'll still find really special things about this book. So yeah, highly recommend it. Also highly recommend her channel if you don't follow her. She's a great follow. I've really enjoyed just learning about her community, because I really hope that people kind of learn about my community. So it's kind of nice to share that. So I think that's all for now. I hope y'all will read the book. It's really, really great. And follow me for some more fun like this. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.